guys. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. Today I'm doing something different. Which I do once, sometimes twice a year, where I go for an extra long walk. Today is perfectly chosen for an extra long walk of somewhere between 9 and 11 miles. Because not a cloud in the sky. The high temperature today is about 62. 64. It's very nice. I'm wearing a long sleeve with a shirt over it. By the time I'm done this walk, I'm sure I'll take one of these shirts off and I'll probably pull up the long sleeves. But we're going to warm up again this week. But today is perfect for a long walk because you don't want to do it when it's 90 degrees and humid. So some of this walk, because of the length of it, I'm going to edit some of it out or not record at all because battery reasons. I'd have to change the camera settings to have a lower quality, which I don't like watching back. And also, you know, you try to talk and fulfill dead air, I guess you could call it, for 2.5 to 3 hours. Then we have the issue of I had to watch her, she was texting. People are texting, you don't walk in front of their car because they send a text and they start going. So, talking to people for 3 hours is cumbersome, as is uploading it, editing it. So, the longest I like to have a walk to upload is between 2 and 2.5 hours. But I want to keep this around 2 because the usual is 1.5 hours. So there's definitely going to be some editing. And I also have the head mount, which the camera is not on right now, but it will be shortly. Because I'm not going to carry a selfie stick for 9 to 11 miles. I'm just not going to do that. So I do have my backpack. I have some honey roasted peanuts in a container for a snack if I need some snacking or energy. I also have a large container of water. That's about all I'm going to need. Of course, I have my EDC and I have my cell phone. And it's not windy today. It's not windy. It's kind of like in between. And this is the kind of day we had on September 11th, 2001, when that horrible thing happened. Exactly the same weather, not a cloud. 60 to 70 degrees. So anyway, that's the lowdown for today. So this is the way we usually walk when I go this way, but I'm going to walk past where I was and we're actually going to take the long route around the pond. So some of this video is going to contain nice views of the pond, at least one that I can think of. So, hope you enjoy the walk with me. We got a lobster place here, up the road a piece. I'm going to record for a little bit. I'm going to turn the camera around and say hi to everybody. Hi everybody. Now we are going to be walking at least 9 miles today. And like I said, I'm not going to record everything, but I'll piece together what I need to say. Tomorrow is Charlie Kirk's funeral services, and so the important message I want to share with you is that we as a people have a choice right now, and I would urge people to remain good U.S. citizens and promote peace. Part of Charlie, well, not part of Charlie Kirk's faith, all of Charlie Kirk and his faith, which is Christianity, same as mine, is peace. Always peace, never violence. Never, never, never. And he repeatedly told us how violent the left is. Now you can say the left has been possessed by evil. I believe that. I do believe in evil. I believe it promotes corruption. And a lot of these younger people are faithless. They've got nothing to believe in. So they gravitate towards things that are bad, or give you a false sense of feeling good, kind of like dopamine hits, you know, from your brain. So these people get angry because they get stoked up with propaganda, and they do things like put masks on, threaten people, they key your car, whatever it may be. We've seen it all. And they justify it because they're doing it to Nazis, racist. Nazis have been pretty dehumanized since World War II, deservedly. So now you just name somebody, that group is a Nazi group, neo-Nazi. That's why it's always white supremacist, white nationalist. So that's all stuff. That's all stuff that the left did intentionally. The neo-Marxist. Because what they're going to do is they have to demonize people. So instead of, you know, because I'm a nationalist, okay, and I'm a Christian, and I'm white, so technically I'm a nationalist. I believe in country first, America first, patriotic nationalist. But they turn around and turn you into a white nationalist. See, they have to introduce race into it. And they do the same thing with the white Christian nationalists. And then they tie everything up with a nice bow to white Christian nationalist, when in fact it's just somebody that's a Christian loves their country and their patriots. But the white people, quote unquote, control the narratives. So they have to tear down the establishment through anarchy and chaos and violence. That has a lot of effect in Europe, but it doesn't have that same effect here. Right now, people are fatigued by it. They're tired of hearing it. And the left is, they're starting to fall on the unpopular side because people see what they're doing. And I got pretty upset earlier watching a clip today of Van Jones talking with Anderson Cooper. And Van Jones was going at it really hard with Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk was killed online. They were going at each other. Charlie Kirk would spew facts peacefully, not sarcastically, not being snarky, not arguing like people argue online. And Van Jones was being an asswipe because Van Jones is a race baiter. He plays the victimhood thing because he's black, which is what black people do today. And I don't mean all black people, I mean the black people on the left who don't think for themselves and they follow other people. Conservative movement has a lot of black people in it, Hispanic. Love you guys, you're awesome. We're all equal in this, literally equal. You want true equality, come to the Republican Party. So, we have Asian Americans, we have LGBT in the Republican Party. Yes, it's true, we do have MAGA trans people. They don't behave anything like the nose ring, blue hair brigade, covered in tattoos and facial piercings, completely different people. So this is all about ideologies rather than sexual association or religious association. There are some MAGA people that are atheist. That's between them and the Lord. Nothing to do with me. Live and let live. That's what the Republicans are all about. It's more important to be an American, enjoy freedom and liberty, and not be oppressed by anybody. So, anyway, Van Jones, talking with Anderson Cooper, revealed Charlie Kirk had sent Van Jones a message on X. I don't remember word for what it said. It's probably online if you want to look it up. But Charlie Kirk said, I would very much like to have you as a guest on my show where we can have a deep talk about racism and clear up misconceptions and misinformation that's being spread about the right, the Christians. And he said, I would love to have a discussion with you to agree or disagree and do it agreeably, peacefully. Now, Van Jones did not get that message from Charlie Kirk before Charlie Kirk's death. That's why it's significant. Van Jones was one of the people on TV going at Charlie Kirk the most, saying Charlie Kirk hates black people, he's a bigot, he's a racist. And then he gets a message like that, peacefully saying we need to talk because we need to come together and have these discussions instead of throwing hate and vitriol. And you can tell it affected Van Jones. I don't think it affected enough to change what he's been doing, because he does it for a career. But he seemed to be taken aback by that, like he didn't expect that. And he seemed to be regrettable that he got that message after Charlie Kirk had died, because Charlie Kirk sent it on the 9th. He didn't see it till the 10th when one of his staffers showed it to him. Now, he was asked, would you have met with him and been on his show? And he was like, well, probably not, but he goes, at the very least, I would have called him and we would have had a conversation on the phone. So that's what Charlie Kirk did. He never called for violence. He never promoted violence. He was a modern day MLK for a different kind of civil rights in this country, because the far left is trying to take over this country and ruin it. And their idea of democracy and freedom is not what democracy and freedom is. And Charlie Kirk knew that. He tried to do something about it. And so anyway, I just wanted to come in here and talk about that, because we have his funeral tomorrow. And I thought it was very interesting to talk about that. And by the time you see this, I'm sure you have seen Ilhan Omar and AOC spew their nonsense on the floor about Charlie Kirk, disrespectfully. 58 Democrats would not vote for the resolution. Congress, you know, AOC and Ilhan Omar are trying to make big deals out of it. We shouldn't have even had this resolution, blah, blah, blah. Congress has been doing that since we've been a country. And somebody dies. That meant something to either party. It's part of what binds us together, as we can think differently, speak about different things, but at the end of the day, we respect each other despite our opinions. That is what being America is. And when you see Democrats not supporting that, they're telling you who they are, and you need to listen to them. They don't like America the way it is today. They want it to disappear, so they can do what they've been doing and enforce their will and way on people. That is not who we are as a country, and these people are un-American. And I keep hoping that these sane Democrats, and there are some sane ones, snap out of it and buck against the party. It's going to cost them greatly to do that, but if enough of them get together and do that in a block, it'll cause change. I'm not asking Democrats to all of a sudden agree with Republicans on everything. That's not what I'm saying. We can agree to disagree and have conversations and debates. Democrats don't debate anything. They're not confirming anybody for Trump, which finally that got broken through, because the Republicans in power had to change the rules of the Senate to do it, which is going to be a problem if the Democrats get the Senate. They can just approve whoever they want for cabinet positions. The small, lower tier ones, not the committee ones. So anyway, Trump's been in office for 8 months, a little over, and finally did the first batch of appointees. 49 of them yesterday in a big batch. So we're going to see a lot of that. They're 8 months behind, unfortunately. And that hurts the country, and that's what I'm talking about. Right now, they're putting party ahead of the country. They need people to run services. And so we get a lot of lot of issues ahead. Got a lot of problems. And they just hate Trump with every fiber of their being. But what they need to realize is that they're going overboard with it, and the American public's not going to support that. They're just not. Everybody is fatigued. They're tired of it. That's why Jimmy Kimmel was canceled. And I'll tell you what really happened with Jimmy Kimmel. Charlie Kirk was killed, and instead of Jimmy Kimmel coming on saying that was a terrible thing in honor of Charlie Kirk, tonight's monologue is going to be dedicated to peace for the country, and we need to find a way to move ahead and still not agree with each other if we don't want to in a democracy. That's all he had to say. But instead, he aired something else. Part of his monologue wasn't even shown. And corporate said this is enough. And what happened was, this all came from local ABC affiliates, okay? The local affiliates got complaints from viewers saying, you know, somebody was killed, assassinated. It's not funny. So then Nexstar contacted ABC, and then the FCC stuck their nose in it too, and that's what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. The first thing that happened was viewers did not like what he was saying. That's usually what causes people to get yanked. Would not be the first time in history. So that's really what happened. And the Democratic Party is trying to politicize everything, hoping they have something that sticks against Trump. And now it's a free speech thing, and he's destroying the Constitution, according to them, which is going to lead to more assassination attempts and violence. And the American public is just sick of it. Sick of it at this point. So it's up to us right now, the public, to rebuke what they're doing. About all I can say about it. I'm going to turn the camera around now. Got a nice row of flags here, which is nice. It is a beautiful day. That I will tell you. We're starting to get the leaves changing. So a lot of people are like, how can you do this much walking like every day? Well, it's kind of a spiritual thing, psychological thing. It's good for your psyche. Feel good about yourself and your health. You know, because as demonstrated with Charlie Kirk, anybody's life can end at any time. And, you know, I just enjoy being in shape. I like how I look. Still can't believe I used to be 270 pounds 4 years ago. Now I'm 45 pounds lighter. I don't starve myself. I stopped eating microwave dinners, microwave rice. They cook the rice ahead of time in oil. Then they put them in these foil packets, and then you just warm them up in the microwave, and very high in calories, and it's not good for you. So it takes longer to cook rice from scratch. A cup of rice takes about 20 to 25 minutes. But it sure as hell is a lot cheaper to buy. And you can flavor it how you want to. So today is a perfect walking day. All I have to keep my eye on is traffic. That's something you cannot take your eye off. And for those of you that know, I'm going to be taking a route that circles No Name Pond. Over here. I am in the next town right now of Sabattis. Now, this is not something you want to do if you don't have a good quality shoe to walk in. Not recommended. I have sneakers that are nice for around the house, doing things around the house, but they are not good to wear like all day long for comfort. There's also running shoes, walking shoes, horseshoes. So this is a point where I am going to stop recording till I'm up ahead more, and I'm going to have the camera mounted on my head to free up my hands. Welcome to Sabattis, established in 1840. Many moons ago. This used to be a dirt road. That has experienced progress. I have the camera mounted on my head now. Which I always hope when I do this that the picture is okay. Sometimes it moves when I'm walking, so once in a while I stop and check it. I have to stop recording to check it when it's on my head anyway, unless I hold up my cell phone with a selfie screen on so I can see my forehead, which is what I may do. But it's easier to look on the app to see what I'm actually filming. So this walk I'm taking today is not one I would take in the summertime when it's hot and humid. So I've been waiting for fall to get here, and as you can see by the trees, they're starting to turn. So far, it's not looking as pretty as it usually does. I think it has a lot to do with drought. Severe drought at this point. So I'm at 3 miles right now. I'm at mile number 3. Completed 3 miles. I'm on my 4th mile, if that makes sense. Now, last time we went through here, there was some construction going on in downtown Sabattis. On their Main Street in Sabattis. So I brought an extra battery with me today for the GoPro, but the memory card only records 2.5 hours. So that's another reason. It's another reason to turn it off every once in a while. Nobody's going to watch a 3-hour walk anyway, at least to make it worth the time it takes for me to edit that much. So I'm going to shoot a little bit of 360 video today in a couple spots I'm thinking of. This is a hardware store up here that has pretty much anything you could need for the most part for ammunition. We stop in there sometimes, pick up some stuff. Sturdy's, it's called. They are a Christian owned. In fact, the T in Sturdy's is actually a crucifix. And yes, we are in Trump country here. I know a lot of people online, they think Maine is lost. They're hopelessly blue. It's really not the case. It's Southwest Maine. Southwest Maine is no different than Massachusetts or Connecticut. Most of the people live in that area. They have gerrymandered the districts to get their party in power all the time. And looks like they're having some kind of sale out here today with the tent. Usually see that, but I'm on my walk. I'm not out sightseeing for sales. So that's the kind of thing I was talking about, that Mustang right there in that dark gray with black trim. That looks hot. I really like that. It's got that post-apocalyptic look that I like, and I do not like how that looks on pickup trucks or SUVs. But I like how it looks on sporty vehicles. It's got a tough look. I like it. It's like primer gray, battleship gray. And so this route I'm walking right now, I have not walked this since probably May of last year, I think, or April, something like that. Well, it must have been later than that because there was leaves on the trees. I remember it wasn't hot. I do remember that. And I actually ended up going this way because I took a wrong turn, which sometimes happens. So tomorrow's the funeral of Charlie Kirk. I'm going to find a live stream. And I really hope to God, literally, that there's no violence that breaks out from radical leftists. Now, I want to go over Antifa. So President Trump is designating Antifa as a terrorist group. That is different than making a proclamation. And he did the same thing with the cartels, which he designated the cartels as a terrorist organization, giving us license to kill them because they're a threat to our country. And he did the same thing with Antifa. There's a lot of people online that are screaming that he can't do that, and he actually can. So they're screaming about it like Antifa is some kind of political group and they have free speech, which they do. However, they commit a lot of violence. They encourage violence, and they attack federal property, and somebody is financing them. So they're going to go after the financiers of these people, as well they should. So what we're going to do right now is I'm going to shoot some 360 video down here off a bridge, a couple of them. So I'm going to get some kind of 360 video today at least. All right. Gives you an idea what I'm looking at today out in Sabattis. Well, that wasn't very friendly. So we get this side here, which I'm going to make sure I hang on to this pole very carefully so it doesn't drop in the water. So I don't know how far underneath the bridge you can see with this. We'll find out when I watch it back. Now we're going to go across the road here. There's some more water on the other side. So we'll cross the street. Take a look off this bridge. Now, this is something people drive by all the time and they don't stop and look at it. Looks like a beaver dam right there. So we have a beaver dam. We actually do have beavers here. And Sabattis here has been here for a long time as part of Lewiston, when we were all part of Massachusetts at one time. I see a couple of things swimming in the water, beavers. We just saw 2 beavers out there in the distance. I didn't notice it till the last second, but we have it on video. You may be able to see that. So they dam up the water so they can have a pool to swim in down there. I wish we could see them. I don't see any. I see the ripples in the water that they made. So anyway, that's it. Welcome to Sabattis, home of the beavers. All right. Now we're resuming walk. We're recording again after we just looked at some beavers and a beaver dam. We got the Sabattis Fire Department. So I like having good quality hiking shoes that I'm wearing, made by Keen, K-E-E-N. Highly recommend their stuff. You can go beyond the norm with these for comfort, for long distance. And they're worth the investment. So we're going to walk on some more. Get the camera condom on, 360 camera, to protect both lenses because they are very susceptible to damage and fingerprints. And we've got an old Mercedes here. Looks like it's just barely going. Looks like it pulled over where it broke down. Looks like it's been there a while. It says Marine Veteran on it. Free stuff. Free stuff. Another Mercedes. Well, that house looks packed with stuff. My guess is somebody passed away. That's what I think. And that house is packed to the gills with junk. That's what that looks like to me. Let me know what you guys think. Well, this whole area right here looks like it's very poor. Daycare center, help wanted. So this is already an interesting walk today. We're going to be crossing a bridge around the corner. The last time I went through this way, that bridge was being rebuilt, renovated. We'll go see what they did. Had heavy equipment on it, doing all kinds of stuff. I'm going to get a 360 shot up here as well. And we've got Main Street here in Sabattis. This Main Street market has been here since I was little. Might have different owners, but it's always been there. It's like the only convenience store here, so they must do okay. Sabattis is very small. I mean, look at this old truck. Old F-250 tow truck. Isn't that something? That's amazing. Alright, so I think I am going to make this my 360 shot. Alright, now we're walking again with the head camera. Be sure to check out the 360 playlist. So we're going to walk on up this way. We're now in mile number 5. You can hear gunshots in the distance. It is Saturday. It is rural Maine. Everybody here owns firearms. It's like legal. So when people hear gunshots here, they're not alarmed to buy them unless they're like close by. That would be suspect. So I got two different routes I can go up ahead, and I'm going to open Google Maps and choose which one I want. A lot of times things look different when you're walking as opposed to driving. Got a lot of old run-down buildings out here. Broken glass, broken window. If I remember right, I think I want to go left here. I'm going to check my map and I'll be right back. That's right, this is No Name Pond Road. So instead of going straight that way, we're going to take No Name Pond Road because we're going to go by No Name Pond. And that's what the sign says. Taking a last look. And the last time I walked this way, I was going that way. So I'm kind of doing it reverse. I'm doing it reverse. Damn beautiful day today. It really is. Perfect Saturday thus far. So we're going to take a rural road up here. Why wouldn't we? Everything here is rural. I'm going to take another 360 video when we get to No Name Pond, because it was a pretty nice view last time, and that was one of the things I thought of when we got this 360 camera. I was like, boy, that would be a nice shot. So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do, coachies. And you can see how poor and run down it is out here. Somebody's mowing the lawn. Now this house is getting a rebuild. This might be nice. So my friends, welcome to the 360 playlist. I just recorded a 360 video for the 360 video playlist. You want to check that out? We'll be coming up on 5 miles just up ahead here. We're having a good walk. I chose to come this way because we're going to be heading back. Part of the way back is going to be a part that I walk quite often, which you may recognize when we get there in a few miles. The last 2 miles anyway. So this was a pole right here that was a victim of the storm a couple of years ago. They put up a new pole, and there's the old one, the old power pole. I got snapped and broken. So this area here did not have power when that storm happened. $70-mile-an-hour winds for a nor'easter is pretty rare. Thankfully that was all rain, which made repairing it a lot easier than if we had 2 feet of snow. But that could have happened as well. I know I didn't enjoy it. No fun when you don't have power for 5 days in the winter time. There's all kinds of things to worry about. Thankfully though, during the day it was close to 40 degrees. It was at night it was an issue. So that was just before Christmas 2023, I believe. So we're going to have No Name Pond coming up ahead, and I'll get some 360 video there, and that'll probably be my last 360 shot for today. And that person did not see me until the last minute. Did you see that? That's because they're not used to people walking on these roads. So I'm going to be careful when cars go by. They saw me. That's good. got a good pile of wood out there for the wood stove. They're getting ready. People are getting ready. So these walks are, I've kind of adopted the MAHA movement, Make America Healthy Again. And RFK Jr. has been doing a great job, despite coming under fire with daring to touch vaccine policies. Apparently, that is a big sin in DC because of big pharma money and lobbying. They give a lot of money to politicians on both sides of the aisle to ensure things like mandatory vaccines. Now, a lot of people have a lot of conspiracy theories about that. You can believe what you wish. But the bottom line is, whatever theory you come up with, that's not good. And if anything, it's just profiteering, buying off politicians. And I absolutely abhor that. So RFK Jr. is rubbing their fur the wrong way, because he's using common sense. And you know, they're vaccinating kids now, newborns for HPV, for crying out loud. You know, those are being mandated in a lot of states. When you have a newborn baby at the hospital, you have to do that. And I just don't believe in that. So RFK Jr. is issuing in common sense, like we shouldn't be fluoridating the water because some people don't mind fluoride in the water, they trust it, and other people don't. They don't want it. So why are we forcing people to drink it that don't want to drink it on something that you need to live? They don't have a choice but to drink it or buy bottled water. So that's a valid argument. Forcing parents to vaccinate their children is another valid argument. You know, the left is all about virtue signaling. Oh, it's child abuse. If you don't vaccinate them, they could get the measles or something. Well, that's up for the parents to decide, not you. You know, that's really the issue. Just like any of our rights in this country, you can either partake in them or you can choose not to. That's your right. There's no need for a child to be vaccinated for HPV, which is something you get later on in life through sexual activity that doesn't cause you problems physically, but they believe it contributes to cervical cancer and testicular cancer, prostate cancer. So they're vaccinating people when they're born. That is not necessary. It's bullshit. That's what it is. And the other thing I'm going to say about studies is you have to take your own facts, do your own research, and read things from different angles, because anybody can have a study to say anything they want. And universities pay for that. They pay for these studies through tax dollars, usually. So when there is a leftist agenda that people have to do this, that, or the other with a medical procedure, whatever it may be, you're getting a tilted table viewpoint, a dishonest one. Because somebody paid for that result. And if you give that group the result they want, they will come back with more tax dollars and spend money at your university. So that's the cycle they have been in for decades. So And that's why RFK is firing people in the CDC. A lot of these people have been influenced by Big Pharma, which is what we suspected when they came up with absolutely ridiculous COVID protocols that went against science. They completely discredited herd immunity as something that's not possible with COVID, which it is. That has been established as scientific fact after the fact. But beforehand, they were treating it like all of a sudden there's new science. And that's because you had leftist radicals in the CDC making these decisions for everybody. Because they were being virtuous. Their intentions were probably good. I'm sure all of them went and got all of their medical treatments for COVID that they required, that they wanted. And they wanted everybody else to as well, whether you wanted to or not. So, very dangerous thinking in a free-thinking society. And I will reiterate, if you feel like getting vaccinated for everything is the best thing for you medically, then go ahead. It's between you and your doctor. But also you should acknowledge not everybody feels that way. I'm not here to say what's right or wrong. I've had a video censored already by YouTube, so I got to be careful what I say. And I may end up editing out what I just said because I didn't call it the flibbity gibbet, and I actually called it what it is. So I'm probably going to have to edit the past 10 or 15 minutes. But that's okay, because we got a long walk today. And that may actually work out. But anyway, the bottom line is RFK Jr. is doing a great job fixing things that were broken. And the CDC, the left is having a fit because they are enjoying their big pharma money. And there are some on the right not happy with RFK because they're also getting money from big pharma. This is a bipartisan problem in Washington, D.C. Big pharma has enough money to actually finance their own country. They have insane amounts of money. Now, RFK Jr. has instituted a new policy, which is part of the MAHA movement. Ideally, everybody wants to see prescription medication advertisements on TV banned. Everybody wants that. But the only way to do that would be to pass legislation to do that. And again, you have to get past the big pharma lobby in DC that has infected both parties. RFK Jr. does not have the power to block those ads. But what he did do is he instituted a policy that the negative side effects in detail have to be presented in their advertisements. That he can do. Now, usually what they do now is they'll say some of the side effects, and if you want more information about this, go to this website. So RFK Jr. is getting rid of the go to this website thing, and they're going to force them to put that information that is ugly to look at in the commercials. So that's the best he can do, and I applaud him for that because a lot of politicians are getting on him for doing that. Because like I said, it's all about money. Follow the money. So we're still on No Name Pond Road. We're going to be coming up on mile number 6 up ahead. We're doing 9 today. I want to get a shot of No Name Pond up ahead here somewhere. There it is. I see it. It's over there. I'd like to walk down there and shoot some video, but it's private property. and I cannot do that. But there is the pond. That is only about 3, maybe 4 miles from our house. So it's a nice place. Come look at once in a while. Got 5.7 miles right now I'm at. So that's a nice view out there. Try to get a nice shot up ahead here. I'll be able to hop over the guardrail and go stand along the water up ahead here. Looks like somebody did a righteous burnout here. Yes, sir. America. I'm gonna burn some dust. Eat my rubber. It's from a funny movie. Oh, we got a couple people down here with a fishing pole, looks like. Yep, somebody fishing down there. Pulling their lure through some weeds and stuff. They'll probably catch something down there. So I want to get a nice shot down here, hopefully. Hello. Catch anything today? Alright, so we're going to get some 360 video. So here we are at No Name Pond. Got some kids to the left of me fishing. They said they're catching bass, which is what I had guessed because of the weeds and the lily pads. So this is a nice spot down here with a nice view. Absolutely beautiful. Today, as we just got to mile number 6 walking, and a little bit later as the leaves turn a little more, this is going to be exceptionally beautiful with all these trees orange and red. I should make it a point to come back this way this fall on a nice day like today where it's nice and sunny. And we can see the jet planes in the sky heading towards Portland Jetport, International Jetport. No, those are not chemtrails. So this is mainly what I came down this way for, was to get some nice video for the 360 playlist, which I hope you like. Water levels here are low. You can see the usual water line is right up here, and the water level has gone down quite a bit. So this is as far as I'm going to walk down this way, but I just wanted to get this nice shot here. And absolutely beautiful day in Maine. This is worth the walk here. Absolutely beautiful. Anyways, my friends, thanks for checking out the 360 playlist. God bless you all. So we're still recording with the head cam, and I just shot a 360 video. So absolutely beautiful day on a beautiful pond. This is No Name Pond. Doesn't have a name. Several jet planes in the sky heading towards Portland Jetport. And got some kids down there fishing, which is what kids should be doing. Nice and calm. So peaceful and beautiful. So we'll take another shot before we go, and get some like cliffs out there. And we got a lot of the trees are turning, but they're going to turn a lot brighter orange and red at some point, and I'm definitely going to make sure I come back this way and get a nice video on a nice sunny day just like today. All right, we will say goodbye to No Name Pond for today. We'll finish up my walk. I got 3 miles left or so. Hope you're enjoying a beautiful day and a beautiful walk with me today in Maine. I've been wanting to come back and get some good footage of that pond using the 360 camera since we got it. Now I finally did it on a perfect day. Not a cloud in the sky. Nothing in the sky but jet planes. Oh, look at this old truck. That's pretty awesome. That's what these roads are good for. You get a nice old truck, an old car. Take the old buggy out here. So we'll finish up the walk today. I'll probably crack open my bottle of water from my backpack shortly. I'm pretty accustomed to walking at this point, so stopping to drink water and eat trail mix is not something that's a huge priority. I just brought some peanuts in case my tummy starts grumbling. So I think about things like, you know, I'm out here walking, enjoying this, and that damn fool that shot and killed Charlie Kirk is never going to be able to enjoy this kind of freedom ever again. He sacrificed all that to kill Charlie Kirk. What a fool. The other thing they did by killing Charlie Kirk is they have awakened youth. There are people going to church now who have not gone in years. There are people that were not believers who now believe. It's had a profound impact. And a lot of people can't describe why they're feeling that way. So we're walking up a very steep hill right here. This is very steep. Got some American flags here. These flags were put out here for a while now. I still don't know the significance. I think there's a couple of there's some gravestones up there. There's some old gravestones. Very old. Probably from the 1800s. Civil War gravestones, probably, since they got American flags. So that's something pretty common. That's common in Maine, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont. There's a lot of old cemeteries. Whew! This is a real hill, mister. Got a car coming up ahead on a hill rise, so I'm going to go off the side here. Always better to be safe. Nice little farmhouse, a ranch. I'm heading to our ranch up ahead here. 3 miles, 3 more miles. I don't show you guys where that is. And I also don't tell you how I get to my walks. Because I don't want you to know where I park to get to my walks. Sucks people have to do that, but the internet is what it is. So all I need is somebody to check out one of my walks. They disagree with what I say, then they go find out where I live and they go crazy. I realize the likelihood is low, but the likelihood of Charlie Kirk being assassinated was low also. Most people talk, they don't actually do it. So, another steep hill. But at this point in the walk, my cardio stamina is excellent. Since I walk at least 5 miles every day, doing this extra today, it's not a big deal. But I'm not going to do this much every day. So, there we go. Now I'm coming up on the crest. So if you're not in shape for walking, these 2 series of very steep hills right there would probably kill you. That's why MAHA is important. The best way to avoid prescription drugs. Oh, we got a tree that snapped right here, and it's not a pine tree. So the best way to avoid having to take prescriptions and having health problems is to lose weight, exercise, especially cardio. Cardio is what's important when you're over 50, more than losing weight, but the losing weight is important. It's like somebody's tearing down. All right. Now you may recognize this intersection because usually we walk down that way. Usually. Today we're going to go down this way. So the next stop is 7 miles. So like I said, you know, sometimes you just have some days where you just feel really great to walk. And when you walk every day, some days it's just not there, either physically or mentally. On those days, I just do a basic 5, call it good. And once in a while, you get a walk where you're happy when it's over. Most of the time, I don't feel that way. But today's a nice day. Temperature is perfect for walking. It's about 64, I guess, 65 degrees. My eyebrows are wet, but I'm not soaked in sweat. I am sweaty on my back, especially because I got a backpack. And I'm wearing long sleeves, so my arms are a little moist. We're at 6.5 miles right now. My goal is 9 miles today, so if I have to walk past where my end of my walk is to make up the difference, I'll do that. It'd be easy to say, well, the hell with it. I've been walking for a little over 2 hours. And I know the video won't be that long because I didn't record everything on this walk. I did have to stop and clear out my walk from the memory card yesterday because I forgot to delete it. So the memory card was full and it stopped recording. So basically this part up ahead is a part you guys see all the time. So I'm probably going to edit some of that out. Nothing new and interesting. I am going to record it in case we see a UFO or something. Or if I actually talk about something important, which is highly unlikely. The long walk. Do it. What a putz. What a friggin' putz. Mile number 7. Amen. Coming up on 7.5 miles. Now I'm starting to feel some fatigue in my feet, mostly my hips, my lower back, which is to be expected. That's pretty good at my age. 7.5 miles. Then we'll be at 8. And then when I hit 9, I'll call it quits. We've had so little rainfall this year. I've mowed the lawn maybe 3 times all summer. It's almost time for another mowing. So I'll probably mow it one more time, and if we don't get any rain, it might be the last time till next year. crazy. Normally, we've been mowing it every 2 to 3 weeks, not 2 to 3 months. But we are in a severe drought. I had a feeling Mother Nature is going to make up for it this fall, though. We'll see what happens. But I would think that would happen. It usually balances itself out. We may get an unusual amount of snow this winter, because then that'll melt and replenish all the water supplies. So something's got to give. It usually does. We are having a great walk today. Really enjoying this. And you are going to get this video before you get the 360 video that I shot today, because it is very time consuming to edit and upload 360 video. So it'll get on the playlist when it gets there. And I also believe that because of these file sizes are bigger when it's uploaded to YouTube, that I'm going to be afforded less hard drive space for those, I think. So YouTube will probably start deleting some uploads. I really don't know how much space everybody's allowed, but you know, I literally have hundreds of videos at this point. And if you have a premium monetized account, they give you more space. Free accounts, you get a certain limit. It's just the way it goes. So they just randomly delete, and I don't mind when they randomly delete full-length walks. But I guess what I'm saying is I don't know how much extra space 360 video is taking. And if that becomes a problem, then it'll be a problem. I'll have to deal with that. Problem with 360 video is you have an option to upload a lower quality. But who wants to watch a pixelated, blocky video? Whether you can control it or not. Nobody wants to see that. I don't. I did a test one and it looks terrible, pretty much. So it has to be at least 4K or 1080p. 1080p doesn't look very good. It has to be 4K. So even though it records in 5K, it just takes too much to do that. So we work with what we have. Maybe someday in the future they'll get the really beautiful picture quality with a smaller file size, but right now that's not the case. So I've been seeing a lot of really hysterically stupid conspiracy theory stuff on Charlie Kirk's assassination online, and I'm very embarrassed that these people are conservatives. One of them was that the cameras Charlie Kirk was using for his podcast, okay? These are the same cameras he sets up all the time for his podcast. And one of the people that works for TPUSA, who was not directed to do so, but did a good thing, was he went around to all the cameras that were surrounding Charlie Kirk from where it happened, and he took the SD cards out of the cameras that they record on, because it records in 4K, and there would be excellent video. Probably one of the cameras was showing where the shot came from, that we've not yet seen because the FBI has them. So anyway, Conspiracy Theory X and Facebook, I think it was mainly Facebook from what I read, they were trying to say that those were hologram cameras, okay? And Charlie Kirk's death was staged. He's not dead. And I'm just like, how do people get this fucking stupid? You saw him get shot. You saw the blood. His wife said that he's dead. People in the hospital have confirmed he was in there, treated, and he died. He's dead in his casket. So they see his hands in the casket and they look kind of orange. You know, he's been embalmed. So they were trying to say that it was a mannequin. It wasn't even real. It's like, come on, guys. What the fuck is wrong with you people? So anyway, the FBI has the SD cards in 4K that were recording Charlie Kirk when he was shot. That's going to be evidence in court, I'm sure. But the guy that works for TPUSA rightfully took these cards because he knows that somebody else there was going to steal them. Because he said, and you know, this is really shameful, they had t-shirts and hats on the table that Charlie Kirk usually gives away to the crowd. And after Charlie Kirk was shot and hauled off, people were stealing the stuff that was on the table. Can you believe that? I mean, that's disturbing. So anyway, this guy had the presence of mind of removing the SD cards from the cameras before somebody else did. Somebody else would have had those. They would have used those for exploitation or whatever. So that was good. Glad they did that. So anyway, that's where we are at that. Cannot believe people were that stupid. Saying things like, when people get shot, they don't bleed like that. You will see arterial spray. That's what experts say. And it's like, what are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Again, people are so stupid. Charlie Kirk's dead. He was shot. He was assassinated. He's gone. What forensic experts have said is that Charlie Kirk's lights went out as soon as the bullet hit and that vein was severed. He didn't suffer at all. He just went black. So you got two main arteries there that supply your brain. You cut those and your brain just, the blood gets cut off immediately. So, plus you get the hydrostatic shock, a wound channel. I guess a hunting round was used, and it's a 30-06. A very capable round. So, goodbye, Charlie. We'll watch your funeral procession tomorrow. Respects. And hi. How you doing? Pretty good. Hi. How are ya? How you doing? You a good doggy? You a good dog? You a good dog? Yeah. You're a good dog. You helping with the garden? Are you a gardening dog? I gotta go, doggy. I'm doing my MAHA walk.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I'm on mile number 8. I'm almost done.
Do that every day?
At least 5.
5 days?
No, 5 miles a day.
5 miles a day, awesome.
Yeah, I have for 4 years now.
Really?
This is a route I walk sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I voted for Trump. I hope it works.
You got it.
See ya.
Have a good one.
You too. God bless. Well, that was a nice dog. All right, my voice is getting coarse from talking. We'll be winding down this walk. I just walked down that steep hill there and my toes just scrunched up in the shoes. Usually doesn't happen with these, but I've been doing a lot of walking today. So we are almost at 8 miles. And like I said, you're probably only going to see about 5 or 6 miles worth on the video. I'm going to do some editing, which is okay. So we're going to head down this way. So it's good to get out and walk this far because you know, you need to know what your limitations are. And you know, I'll be coming up on 9 miles up ahead here at some point, and that's pretty good for me. Last year I did one that was 11.2 miles, and I was okay from that as well. So the reason why this is important is, you know, what happens if something really bad happens and you can't use your car, electromagnetic pulse, something like that. You're gonna have to walk or ride a bike or something. So I'd probably recommend using a bike. I do have a bike. Probably got to replace the tires and tubes in it. Probably all dry rotted at this point, but the bike should work fine. Bike should work just fine. So I'm going to cross over here, walk on up ahead. Somebody's got an old Ford Mustang convertible. That's cool. You don't see too many of that body style. Very nice. Very nice. If you're not familiar with the channel, I drive a Mustang, an older one. They're a lot of fun. American-made cars like Mustangs and stuff like that. They're not the best longevity wise without having to do repairs. It's one of those things. Like those old Jaguars. The old Jaguars. British made, when they were British made. You know, they're like they said on the Top Gear show, they're great for that 20 minutes in between being on the side of the road with a cloud of smoke coming out from under the hood. But when they're running good, they're a dream. So a lot of those sporty American cars are kind of like that too, I guess. So I'll sign off with you up ahead here somewhere. Definitely got the miles in today. I'm going to have at least 9, a little over. But I'll talk with you up until a point sooner than that. Regardless, I always put my mileage from my total walk at the beginning of the video. It doesn't mean the video covers that entire distance. I guess it's my point. All right, everybody. Turn the camera around. All right. Just checking to make sure I didn't change some kind of setting by accident. So anyways, my friends, we're at 8.5 miles right now. And what I did is this on, yes. That's what happened. I turned on the camera in my pocket by accident. So anyways, thank you very much for walking with me today. We're at the 8.5 mile mark, and I feel good. Feel a little spent, as one can imagine, walking 8.5 miles, soon to be 9. And anyway, what I want to tell you is everything that's going on in the country right now, it's absolutely imperative that we remain peaceful, okay? Always got to be peaceful. Peaceful. Peace, 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 okay? When you remain peaceful, they don't have excuses to blame you for anything. They can get mad at you for what you say. They can get mad at you for protesting. They can get mad at you for doing whatever, as long as it's lawful and peaceful. So that's how we're going to beat them. And that's the beauty of it. We got to do like Jesus would, okay? Or Charlie Kirk, or anybody else that has always preached peace. Remember Gandhi? Gandhi was this little Indian guy with glasses, barefoot, sandals, wearing a blanket basically wrapped around him, and he got the entire British Empire to leave India. And he did it peacefully. And so you need to, I mean, there was bigger parts to that story than that, but that was the essence of it, was peace, peace, peace. And that's what we have to do, my friends, okay? Very important. So anyways, I just wanted to say, God bless you, God bless America. Say a prayer for Trump and the United States. We need to clean up the media, make it fair. They can criticize anything they want as long as they do it fairly and they're not propaganda for a party. So I'm going to support anything that puts an end to that. People can scream about free speech all they want, but You know, we need to have freedom of the press equally for everybody, and we're not getting that. So whatever it takes. And we have a short window to do things in, and we have a limited amount of time to do as much as we can get done. And that's why I'm very happy President Trump works hard every day, and we're getting what we voted for, tenfold, thousandfold. I did not know this was going to be this interesting and exciting and this game-changing. And the left is getting angry and violent because they're losing, and they know they're losing. This is when they're going to be the most dangerous. So we can expect to see more violence, but I'm telling you, the right and conservatives, we have to be peaceful. No violence. Nothing. We can scream and shout all we want. We can call them names. We can, whatever you want to do. Don't get violent. Especially after they're violent to you. So if you need to defend yourself, that's different. Okay, there's laws in your favor for that. But otherwise, you know, we saw in Sacramento, California yesterday, somebody did a drive-by and they shot an ABC 10 affiliate in Sacramento several bullet holes into the press building, and it just happened to be ABC, the network that took Jimmy Kimmel off. So we still don't know if that was any connection or just a random drive-by shooting that happens in California anyway, in the strictest gun-controlled state, one of them. So anyways, see you guys later. God bless, and stay safe, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.